Hello, my dear ones. How art thou? Oh, yeah. I knew I forgot my reader somewhere. How's the world treating every one of you, and how are you treating the world? Where are we? Come on. 2 seconds to get adjusted here. Alright. Sounds good. I've been playing, but we do have our new blends in, but we don't have labels for them. But take a look. You guys are familiar with our 2 superfood blends. Well, I created, of course, the infant's milk, and I had to keep redoing this infant's milk because it's mother's milk by nature, because it was just too strong. I mean, people think about nutrition. Sometimes things are too strong. So I've been trying to cut it back and make it easy to grind and just easy to dispense and things. And so it's taken me a little while, but I think I got it, Well, then I came out with Superfood 3. And Superfood 3, it's a superfood for, say, toddlers and senior citizens. But man, I mean, this is good. Listen to this. I've got our berry blend, which is full of berries, all kinds of berries, from chase tree to blue to you name it. I got all the berries in there. And then I got a fruit blend. Got all the fruit in it. It's a good fruit blend. So that's it. And then I've got coconut meat powder, organic sweet banana powder. I've got Gouda Cola for the brain. Royal jelly, Jesus criminy, alfalfa leaf juice powder. Remember that? Put kelp in there as well with a little vanilla and cinnamon. We've got these in, but I don't have labels on them. But that's Superfood 3. Listen to that. That's a power packed. That's power packed. Power packed. And then this Muscles by Nature. I made this for several of the muscle builders that we're working with, some of the pro guys. So I put alfalfa leaf juiced powder. I mean, you're talking mega nutrition, mega energy, mega powerful. I love that. Then I got the berry blend in that as well. Berries, mega nutrition in the berries. Then I've got royal jelly, of course. I got spirulina. It's the only time in my world that I've used spirulina. The only time ever. But spirulina, I've researched that quite a bit through the years, and spirulina, I think, hands down, is better than chlorella. Jensen tried to sell me on spit cell chlorella, but the Japanese company he had so much of that at the house. I still got a bunch of that at the house, and I don't know. But they got the parsley leaf powder. You know how much power, nutrition is in parsley? And then the leaf juiced and powdered. Woo! Then I got the fruit blend in there as well. Then I got American ginseng, the Panax variety out of Wisconsin. Wisconsin has some incredible ginsengs. And then licorice kelp. I mean, this is like mega amino acids, mega nutrition. I mean, these blends are more nutrition than the human body could ever use. Oh, this is the last one I did. You know how people go to these little Circle K, 7-Elevens at convenience stores, and they power up with Red Bull, or they get these 4-hour, 5-hour energy drinks. Well, you're going to have them as clients one of these days, because when you use stimulants, you're going to burn yourself out. And so I created this one for people that need that power. Their just adrenals are shot, and they just want to get that power up. Get this one. So I got alfalfa leaf juice powder, and that's way up there. So that's like, whoa, right? Same thing as wheatgrass juice, except alfalfa is much stronger. I knew Ann Wigmore, and I did ask her one time, why the wheatgrass? You could never convince me, or Shackley, over wheatgrass over alfalfa. Alfalfa is simply the green of all greens. Besides, when you look at alfalfa and you look at kelp, it's like, oh, you're talking about some of the highest nutrition foods on the planet. So when you start mixing all these together, you've got mega nutrition. But what's the gig? What's the issue here? It isn't just about these superfood blends. What's the 4 processes your body has to go through to enjoy these blends at the maximum potential they have to offer you? You have to first digest. All right? So when we talk about digestion, what are we talking about? You're talking about the pancreas. Your pancreas is your main digestive organ in the human body. Its job is to digest carbohydrates, break them down, right? And polypeptides. You know, when you eat a protein, it is so concentrated. That's why it's called a protein. It is so concentrated, glump of amino acids, that your body literally has to tear this apart. Basic digestive enzymes are base, alkaline. However, this complexity of amino acids requires an acid to break it apart. And of course that's hydrochloric acid, which initiates pepsin, and you're down around 2, a little below 2 pH. Hot. So just as soon as you dump that 2 pH, which is ripping apart these complex structures, you're into the peptides and polypeptides. That then requires duodenal or pancreatic duct digestive juices, trypsin, thymotrypsin, things like this, amylase, tyrin. So it depends which we're dealing with, the polypeptides and the amino acids, or you're dealing in the carbohydrates. All need an alkaline slurry of about 7.5 to 8 pH to be properly digested or broken down. So if you have a pancreatic weakness, you're going to see gas and bloating when you eat your vegetables or your fruits. Because you're not digesting them properly, they're going to ferment on you, and that causes gas and bloating, fermentation, right? Well, your gallbladder is your other organ, or gland, however you wish to look at that one. And that, of course, is your bile and etc. That is an emulsification of fats, lipids. So when you take a look at that, when you have digestive problems, you want to work on your gallbladder, liver, and your pancreas, right? Now, what's the second issue that has to be understood? Absorption. You can digest all day long, but if you don't absorb your nutrition through the small capillary walls, through the villi and into the capillaries, and you have 2 capillary beds to think about, believe it or not. You have your vascular capillary beds to think about, but what else do you have? Your lymphatic capillary beds, which is where your fatty acids are absorbed. So you've got those 2 to think about when you're talking about digestion, but then you have absorption. So absorption, when you lose absorption, which system is down in your body? The lymphatic system. That's where you find interstitial, what I term interstitial lymphatic constipation. So you got to get absorption. Well, wait a minute. All these blends are extremely nutritious, extremely energetic, because nothing here is cooked, processed. It's all juiced and then dried and powdered. So what would be your third very important issue that you must consider? And a lot of people, including naturopaths, do not consider this third phase. And it's called utilization. And utilization is in the process of using glandular issues this time. Now, when we're talking about utilization, we're hitchhiking to the glands. And where are we going for the bulk of the utilization of chemistry in your body? The adrenal glands. And how many people have adrenal glands in the dumpers? Everybody. At some level or other. I could probably be safe in saying 98% of all humans on this planet have adrenal gland issues. I'm probably going to be pretty safe at that. 2%, you could probably find them somewhere. 160-year-old Russians or something, you might be able to find that, who lived out in the woods and didn't know what was going on in town. That sort of thing. So utilization is important. Now, calcium, of course, we're going to the thyroid, parathyroid gland. But all your other minerals, you're going to go to the mineralocorticosteroids of the what? Adrenal glands. Now, you got 2 parts of the adrenal glands, cortex, outer part, medulla, inner part. Which part of the adrenal glands produces your steroids? Cortex, outer portion of your adrenals, which is where you can get the cysts, where you can get slammed pretty hard. I think that's probably why that God made the inner core the neurotransmitter site. A little protection, but I mean, when you're talking about interstitial fluid, there's really no protection there at all, really. So, and then of course the fourth phase is elimination of the byproducts of all these processes of everything from digestion to metabolism to the cycles of digestion, like Krebs cycles and stuff like that. So get this nature power. So I put a lot of alfalfa leaf powder in there. I bet I got 60, 70% probably. Maybe not that much, but quite a bit. I got royal jelly. Major chemistry in royal jelly. Major. I love royal jelly. I've got it in all the blends. It's expensive to buy, but man, look at the queen bee, right? I've always loved royal jelly. I got the fruit and berry blend. Very powerful, very energetic. I picked the very best of the best of all the berries. Now the berries run your endocrine glands. So besides this being a nutritional blends, I've got them specifically for your organs and glands as well. How about that? And so I got parsley leaf powder, kelp, licorice, and prickly ash. I'm telling you what. That ought to be a pew. Anyway, I've got to get labels on them, but they're all in-house, baby. I've been having fun with getting those. Finally, after years of putting these together with ups and downs, because we have so many blends. It's expensive for us to carry so many different formulas, no question. But I'm kind of a formula freak. I just love herbs. But here's a good example. I think I told you about the pepper one, where someone had touched their eyelid here with real hot habanero, and they were screaming. Everything they tried on the computer, on medical, didn't work. And they called me. I said, just use some of that. You got burn sap? Burn sap. Burn sap. It's gone. That quick. That's pretty cool. You've got to love herbs because they make a huge difference. And you always want to treat them nice. You always want to use them at the highest utilization factor you can. Okay. I want to carry on with your questions and answers. I've been so busy trying to catch up on things, I don't have any real news for you, other than I know Pat and I are going to address one of your questions here that I think is vital. You guys are coming up with some good questions, and it deals with the medical view of acidosis and blood pH and bicarbonates, and how that is such a limited point of view, and that shadows the truth of biochemistry. But within that context, they think that high protein diets and all this have no effect on the human body in terms of blood and all that other stuff. So I want to address this, but I'm going to address it with Pat, because Pat is a walking encyclopedia of she taught biochemistry too. Now, it's been years since I've had my biochemistry, so something like 40 some. So I don't always use that because I was sent here to keep things simple. But I can't be simple. I have to know the complexity of things to a certain extent so I can simplify it. You can't simplify it if you don't know the complexity of something. But if you know the complexity of something, you can simplify it if you're not caught up in the mind. If you're not caught up in the academic side of something, and you have that academic side, you're just picking that up and setting it in your library. And then at the same time, you're using the observation technique. The mind is a beautiful instrument, and it loves to help you if you learn how to just send it on its way to get you information, and all you have to do is be present to listen when it comes with the information, and it will. You don't have to get hung up in trying to, because that's part of spiritual people's gig when they learn about the present or the now, fighting the thought processes. Because your mind is so used to thinking to answer your questions instead of letting, I hate to use the word spirit, but letting the universe answer your questions through your observation. It's a huge difference in your ability to learn and see and know truth. When you use engage the mind, now you're engaging a conditioned instrument to look at things that you're trying to look at it unconditioned. When you want to go into a lab or you want to understand chemistry of some sort, a reaction and action, you have to get to a point where you don't have any preconceived ideas. Tell me where in chemistry, in today's world, we don't have a highly conditioned mind in chemistry and physics. See, part of the problem, that's part of the problem, is that, and someone's mentioning about schooling and all this kind of stuff, and I've been trying to get people to realize that don't sit there and feel bad and think you have to have all these years of school to be a good healer, because all these years people go to school, none of them are good healers. So you guys are making the better healers than anyone on the planet, because you're spiritual, you understand truth, you're open, and a lot of you suffered way too much. And it's funny here, it's almost like you have to suffer before it makes you wake up a little bit, you know. But the information hasn't been readily available. And when information is put out there, the negative forces like to quash it. It's just the nature of the battle between the two forces. I mean, this battle is not physical. We're just seeing it played out on the physical fields of creation. This battle is at a far greater level, guys. All right. So, boy, but I just love these blends. I mean, look at this one, Nature's Power. I mean, all these blends, this Superfood Blend 3, I'm anxious to start using that one because I've got the coconut in it. I've got all kinds of things in that one. Yeah, fruits, berries, that's going to be good. I'm excited about that. I just love to put together things that are powerful and will work and that people feel good on it. I don't know why. I just love to do that. Anyway, this is a new member question. Let me see here. This is from Brandon. Hey, Brandon. Hi, Dr. Morse and the rest of the Herbal Health Club. I am 25-year-old male from Wisconsin, which I just talked about, Wisconsin. And your guys is ginseng. You guys grow some good ginseng up there. You know, I can't remember the company's name. Matter of fact, we're trying to get in touch because when you're dealing in cases that you have extreme neurological weakness, such as Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig's, and MS, at a certain point, and that would be after you get things kind of opened up and filtration going, you might want to think about using tonics. And tonics simply strengthen and tone. Like ginseng is a tonic. It's a slow tonic. It takes a while. But remember we talked about this 256-year-old Chinese man? Just Google on your computer 256-year-old Chinese man and his information will come up for you. His claim to fame was that he did ginseng tea 4 to 5 times a day. He claimed he didn't eat anything that grows under the ground, which would be starch. And he did make some statement for what I've heard that the higher off the ground you eat, the healthier you would be, simply suggesting that a fruitarian lifestyle would create longevity. Well, when you start adding some of this research that's coming in, like man's brain is the size of it is, and the same with primates because of the fruits, when you start looking at some of these things and you realize that the negative forces have been trying to shut down the understanding of fruit for humans because it makes humans more awake. Look at your children and look at yourselves on raw food diets, how much more awake you guys are. Look at how it settles and quiets the gibberish of the mind, but it also puts the mind in its place. It builds self-discipline. It builds awareness. It builds a sense of vigor, a sense of, I have a body under me. Oh, I got a body. So it's all good stuff. But Wisconsin, good place to get some ginseng. But you might want to use these tonics, like the antler and the ginseng. I had a C3, C4 quad. That's just under Christopher Reeves. And at that level, you have no movement here at all. She has little head, but basically her tongue, excuse me, was how she moved her wheelchair. And I've told you about her before. She's on our spinal cord video. But I just, quite frankly, just went up to her cold, because I was trying to put this video together quick, and I just went up to her cold and said, let's film this, and so, but you ought to see her in PT. I mean, it's just like, oh my God. But when I first met this lady, this was a head-on car crash, complete spinal cord separation, killed the other guy in the car. So she had a lot of emotional issues to deal with. And for the first 3 months, her caregiver could have killed me. She would call me at night, not her caregiver, the girl, crying 1 minute, the next night cussing me out, the next night laughing, and the next night serious as you can be. But I got her through all those healing crises, releasing and getting the adrenals up and releasing all those emotions and stuff. 11 months, totally reconnected. I go, where am I at now? Little pinky on the left hand, where am I now? Little toe on the right foot, where am I now? Shake my hand, give me 10 leg lifts. That was a good case. But I used a lot of herbs on her, and I can't remember which really did it, which really helped her the most. She was total fruitarian, which was vital for me. But I used a lot of ginseng and antler combination. And they found new neural pathways around her plates. And wow stuff. Good stuff. Wow, Dr. Morse, I am so happy and grateful to have come across your videos, this message, and this community. Thank you, my friend. Love you, man. Thanks. I've been high fruity vegan, oh wow, since fall of 2013. You know, the spiritual people are coming together. You notice that? But it's just vital that we do. It's vital that we do. This world needs stability. People are going off their rocker. They need to look to people that have stability in their lives. So you always want to show stability and a higher way about yourself and a truthful way about yourself. Because look who you're a representative for, the all of life. You're now a representative of God in all of life. Because you speak and start working with truth. Your children you're growing is pretty neat. With a few slip-ups. That's okay. I mean, slip-ups are not, I'm not a perfectionist anymore. I was, guys. I was a perfectionist real bad, like some of the guys on our site. But I lost a lot of guys. I watch it. I watch what's happening to them. And you lose a lot of friends, and it's difficult. And it's more excitement than it is narcissism. It's excitement about finding the truth. Because in your being, you know now you're reconnecting to the source. You know, man feels so far away from its source, its creator, and everything else. And like this pulls you right in and connects you, don't it? Absolutely does. Incredible stuff. Good stuff. I did 1 month raw when I was in Hawaii last year, and I felt like I could run forever. He's experiencing just what you can experience. You can get so far. I've said this before. My God, I had one guy. I couldn't stop him. I told him I could get him there, but I really didn't think I could get him there and that high. Couldn't stop him, just like this lad here. Had so much energy, he couldn't stop him. Not stimulants. There was no getting tired. I had my clinic once by a gym, and because I used to build up. And I was in there like 7 or something early in the morning. That gym opened up like 5, and he was in there, and he walked over, and I said, what the hell are you doing here? And he said, well, I've been to the beach already, ran 5 miles. I've been here and worked out for the last hour. He says, no, I'm bored. I'm going, what? It's just like, that is what I'm talking about. That is incredible. I mean, and you can feel it on your own. You know, applied theories. And we'll talk about that when we come to this biochemistry of the fallacy of medical thinking. We want to talk about applied theories. Because the bottom line, no matter what you think, or what your ideas are, or what your skepticisms are, or anything like that, the bottom line, what is the actions of the applied theories? What's the effect of that? So look at the effect of applied pharmaceutical worlds as opposed to us. And it's staggering. There's not a person in this world that, if those numbers were put in front of their faces, wouldn't be staggering to them. the amount of people that die every year from medical thinking, from that theory putting into place. Under the guise of it's to save your life, what we do is life-saving, is to save your life. The biggest lie ever told, or one of them. So, let me see here. Forever as well as heightened mood and recover and much more. I felt like I could fly, but get off of it and you land. Last month, mid-January through most of February, I went through a real big fall. I struggled with depression from time to time. I was in a foreign environment, and it was a toxic one at that. Los Angeles, very toxic. Tell me no more. I already know about Los Angeles. I get a lot of the rock and rollers that live in L.A., and it's like toxic as hell, man. No offense there. Just so many cars, you know. You can see L.A. from where? Las Vegas. I mean, it's like, oh, that's L.A. over there. Because we're looking at the cloud, the dark cloud over L.A. I mean, it's sad. It's like China. I mean, it's like when I was in the DR, I'll tell you what, that was sad because the DR is such a beautiful country. But no catalytic converters. So you just breathe the air and it burns. It burns your throat to breathe the air. When you want to know what acids, they burn you. And when the air gets too acidic, it burns you. And I just feel sorry for all the people. I'm going, oh my God. Horrible, horrible. So I understand where this guy's coming from now. Depression. I like to kind of stop where we're kind of going through here because I kind of get carried away sometimes. But depression, right? You got to look at this slide. Parathyroid gland. So think of your thyroid and parathyroid. Check your basals. Look at your eyes. Make sure your pituitary. And again, talking about pituitary, you've got to look at excuse me, your eyes, you know, your height. If you're a woman, you can always tell by the menses that way. A few other things. But sometimes you don't even know that you have a pituitary suppressing your other glands. If you're a child, bedwetting is a sign of pituitary weakness. If you've got a child that bedwets, that's pituitary. Fix the pituitary, the child won't wet the bed at night. There's always a reason for all the effects. So there's always a cause for the effects that you witness. Just because some people don't know the causes for these things don't mean they don't exist, and you have to make up something. You simply say, I don't know. But the depression, I want you to think about the parathyroid, thyroid, and maybe pituitary. You'll have to look at these videos and get that connection. But get you an eye picture up there and see what you think, or send it, and we'll do another spectrum of eyes one of these days. I started eating fake meats and much more processed foods, and they get you that way. They get you with the soy products and stuff, and I saw soy coming years. See, man, I've been 45 years in this field. So I've seen these things coming when they weren't in place. And boy, to me, soy is Monsanto all day long. To me, Monsanto's experimenting with some crap bean to experiment. Oh, look, we'll just make it a health food and we'll convince the health people that soy is the best thing since planet Earth. And that's just what they did. Never mind the high phytic acid, the estrogenic properties of it, and all the other crap that it has. Soy is a crap bean. My dad is a major farmer. Hated soy beans. Thought they were crap beans. I didn't know what he was talking about growing up. And then when I got in the health food store, I said, look at what they did. Sell the world on crap beans. And so it's just that sort of thing, the fake stuff out there. And it's like, you know what, you just got to turn the leaf and make a new life. If you cheat once in a while, you cheat once in a while. You don't beat yourself up because you cheat once in a while. No. In this time, we would only be prudent to cheat, because those that'll be free from this, perhaps, is the children. You great parents that are raising your children on raw food, they will be the ones that'll work all this out of us. You know, we were raised eating cooked foods, meat, steaks, everything. So I got most of that out of me. But there's still a few things that I love, like Indian food, vegetable korma, for an example. Now that's got, I think that's got yogurt in it. It's like, that just kicks my butt. But once in a blue moon, I got to go have that taste. And I don't care. This is creation. So there's that sort of thing, but there's also the health of life, you know. You don't have to lock yourself and be so perfect that you can't squeak a little. But if you're in any stages of 3 and 4 or 5, you want to squeak. Unless you get so whacked out being raw too much, then I recommend you squeak, you cheat, and then get right back and go after this. Lots of negative self-talk and lethargy. A few days before finding your videos, I ate a bag of grapes and said, wow, this is what I need right now. Yeah, you know, you're a spiritual lad big time, my dear one. And you're just waking up. You yourself is proving it to yourself. And that's what I read out of this, is this lad is a very is awakening. And he is self-working his life. I like that. Really incredible. It's good. I like that a lot. So, and that's just how a spiritual person would do. They would get off just as anybody would, but then they would pull themselves back. Yeah, good stuff. Now I've discovered from you the power of these red grapes. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. How cool. I've been juicing greens lately and started juicing those lovely grapes. See the difference between a green drink and a red grape drink. Look at the power difference and how it feels and the energy you have and how long the energy lasts and the digestive. Start feeling all that. You'll see a huge difference between an 8-ounce glass of red grape juice and that of a green drink. It's okay to have a green drink once in a while. I don't care. But the optimum power lies with the grapes, my dear ones. Going to go on a grape fast? Oh, I would soon, once my celery and bananas are gone. I got you. Raw foods are amazing. I'm telling you, you feel so good, and you get rid of these acids out, and then the joints, you have flexibility everywhere. You don't have lethargy. I mean, it's just incredible. We are.
Oh.
Well, that's okay.
I was just saying hi.
Oh, no, okay. No, we're recording. I'm always in here recording. Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
This is Nadia.
Hi.
Nadia is she works with Marcy.
Okay.
Yep. And soon to be one of our counselors. This is one, well, I mean, you know, this is one smart egg here.
Aw, thank you.
Tell your mom I said hi. Enjoy tonight.
I will. We will.
Bye, honey. Her mother's the company attorney. But her mother's really nice. She's a yoga teacher and a federal criminal defense and civil rights attorney. She's big heart. On the inner worlds, they call her Mama Protector. I mean, this lady. And they showed me who she was spiritually. It was like, oh my God. She's respected quite a bit through the universe. It's amazing. You know, so many of you guys, that's why I'm trying to get you guys to tap into who you guys really are. Because a lot of you guys are just playing these roles as actresses and actors. But it isn't who you are. Who you are is some of the most amazing, most incredible beings ever. And coming all out of the same source. So never set yourself short. Just because we forget who we are down here playing the games doesn't mean we're any less, okay? So never sell yourself short. You deserve to be happy, to be healthy, to be free, to enjoy the God worlds. I like this guy. This is Brandon Young. I like the last name too. Just after 2 days eating 100% raw fruit, I've got my power back. Yeah, lethargy is leaving, jumping out of bed again. I love this. And depression is on its way out. See ya, man. Don't come back. This is pretty good. Guy is on its way out. I ate a baked sweet potato and squash last night, 4 days into raw, and pain in my right knee flared up. Look at that. See what I'm saying? Excuse me, man. I've been on a program pulling this stuff out of me. I don't have a spit tube. This is cool. This Brandon guy, he's really taking this good. Brandon, this is good stuff. But you see, you just proved my point. Now, you got your pain in your right knee back just on squash and sweet potato. Imagine it being a piece of meat or a piece of protein. You'd have really got your pain back. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And you would have never thought sweet potato causes pain? It's a vibration. It's a lower frequency. It's amazing when you get into frequencies and the alkaline versus the acid, and you start to feel all that. It's just freaking amazing. Can't say we can explain it all. I mean, you know, this is amazing. I mean, we just see the effects of the Creator, and yet we're trying to get to the causes. Can I say if it was directly connected, but it is interesting. Oh, it's definitely connected. Oh, no, it's definitely connected. I use that. I tell people, all my clients all the time, I said, you want to see the difference? Go 100% raw for 2 weeks. 100% raw. Or a week. Just a week even. 100% raw. Nothing cooked whatsoever. 100% raw. And then on the last, the 7th day or whatever, the end of your journey on raw for a week or two, go out and have you a big meal of cooked food. Just go have a big meal of cooked food, and then you tell me, just like Brandon is, what you experienced. Absolutely. Nope. He's right on here. Can't say, been dealing with that knee for a couple of years now. Fix the kidney on that side. I've obviously known the power with fruits, but it is funny how you can fall off the wagon sometimes. Oh no, I fall off the wagon lots of times through my life. Oh yeah, because of this and that. Just having the wrong mate, or a mate that's not into it. I mean, there's all kinds of pressures that after years with these pressures, you can cave. That's why I don't judge anymore. Are you kidding? As soon as you judge, then someone's judging you. So I don't judge. I don't care. Do what you want. But this is what you're going to experience if you do this. I wanted to eat cooked regularly, but I'm realizing that if I want to be my best, I need to be 95 to 100% raw. Same with me. They're just that 100% raw is just, you can't describe it. You have to say you got to try it. I can't tell you about it. You just have to try it. Well, there's a big difference between 100% raw fruits and vegetables and 100% fruit. I mean, it's just huge. Now, whether you can sustain that and that level of energy and consciousness, I don't know. I don't see that that's important. What I do see is that you get your remedy and get your body feeling good again so you can play with it and have fun. At the same time, you start growing and awakening up out of this morass of creation, this conditioned states of thinking where everything is basically propaganda and conditioned thinking. We just pile on everybody else's experiences. And don't you feel like you want to learn your own stuff? Don't you want to discover new things yourself here instead of reading someone else's book? Oh, this guy, he discovered that. Don't you want to do that? Throw it away. Throw other people's stuff away. But let's see here. I want to detox all this junk, especially at times when I become unmotivated and depressed. This usually happens when I'm not working in the winter here in Wisconsin. Now, I want you to think about your endocrine glands here, because you are young, and the possibility of having a parathyroid weakness with depression is way up there, so you want to correct this now. Of course, it's in the head. That's for number one, a central nervous system. 2, transverse colon's involved, head's involved. This brings me to the question, would you recommend a juice fast or a grape fast? Don't care, either one, don't matter. Detoxing while working 8 hours a day of physical labor, probably do the grapes. We can eat them. That'll give you some emotional component. It'll give you some chewing factors. And it'll give you some electrical fiber. Do the juice fasting later when you have the time to deal with it. So I'd just be chopping grapes. I'd leave them all around my work and just eat them all day long. Keep them in my pocket or whatever. Now, the grape juice probably is twice as strong, though. Let me see here. Detoxing while working 8 hours a day. Physical labor. Conservation Corp. Oh, yeah. I will be on this job for spring, summer, and fall. Then I'd probably eat them. I'm pretty sure I've heard you recommend fruit juice fast over veggie juice fast always. You know, a vegetable juice fast is okay. But, I mean, why? If you're going to spend the self-discipline time to fast, then you want to either make it dry, water, or fruit. Period. Because those are really your three top fasts. Fruit is bucking the word fasting. Vegetable juices wouldn't be considered a fasting because you have a lot more robust chemistry and everything else there. And the vibrations are so much lower. I wouldn't consider a vegetable juice diet a veggie fast. I mean a fast where I could use that word. Because anytime you get into more complexity or structured chemistry outside of a fruit, you are looking at more complex digestive needs, energy loss during that. You're looking at a lot of other things that can affect you when you're sensitive to energy, like in MSs and all these type of cases. So this is why staying off fruit is vital to MS, Lou Gehrig's, Parkinson's. Difficult, especially when you're in the chronic levels. It's going to take you a couple of years. Difficult. But I tell you, getting out of the chair is everything. That would be to me anyway. It'd be to me. Getting out of a chair is everything to me. I would hate to be confined to a chair my whole life. So, to me, fasting is generally water or dry, but you could consider fruit fasting, fruit juice fasting. But I would leave it at that, those three. And then everything else is more diet-related type thinking. So it really doesn't matter, because when you're at these levels, I definitely wouldn't do the veggie juice fast. You're too high for that one. You're a spiritual dude. I wouldn't mess with that. You will feel this. Right? I don't know if some of you know what I'm talking about, but in a fruit makes you feel the level which you deserve to be at, which you know your consciousness can be at. When you do the vegetables, you can, especially for those that are more awakened, you can feel that tug in the lower part of you. It's like a tug of war and some lower energy on you. So I don't advise that. I advise if you're going to do this and you're going to get the self-discipline, and the only case I would change my mind on that would be if you were so sensitive to fruit you couldn't deal with that. You couldn't in any way. You're so acidic and everything else, and you can't deal with that. Then, yeah, you might have to veggie juice for a while to break down a little bit to get to the point where you can handle the fruit. Absolutely. And we do that on a lot of people. Some people come in here with extremely high candidas, extremely high pain levels, and fruit levels, they can't get to it. So we have to go to the green drinks and fast them a little bit and work them through that with the herbs and everything and get them stabilized to where we can flip them into the fruit juices, and then they can go on and have a better time at it. Sometimes when you try to cram things down people's throat, that doesn't work. And you can lose your client, not always good for the client. So why is that? And why do I hear a lot of people in the vegan raw society media against fruit juice fast? Cuckoo. I can't tell you. I've been here longer than most of them, so I can't tell you. I grew up, so to speak, in the natural health field. I got involved when I was 20, 21. And I'm 67. I was a fruitarian at 21 years old. So I've been through all these different levels, played with all these things, played with supplements, played with this, played with that. You know, I've seen a lot of things come and go through the years. But if you think for 1 minute that vegetable juice is more powerful than fruit juice, then they just don't understand what they're talking about. They don't understand chemistry and frequencies and stuff like that. Never really experienced on them, because everyone experiences very similarly, and we're all humans. These states of consciousness we all play in. All the humans can play in them. I could play Honey Boo Boo for a while, or I could play Einstein for a while. What do you want to play? You guys can play anything you want. It's up to you. You can go out and play you can take on any acting role you want. But at the end of the day, who's the actor or actress? Who's the one playing in this field of dreams? And that's you. That's who I'm talking to. Your body, okay. But I'm talking to you, the consciousness. So I can't say. I can say that when I first started doing the YouTubes, I myself was amazed at how much people were told how bad fruits are for you. Now, it's like in some of these things with Trump and everything's going on. Who's behind these things? Who's behind the smearing of fruits as a health food? That's someone working for the negative forces. Because there's no reason. Fruit is the main food of man and always has been. But our societies right now on this planet, in my opinion, are lost, and that's why this is all happening right now, at this time, at this particular level, at this particular site. There's stagnation here that needs to be opened up, and you guys are a big part of that, and you can see the beauty of it. Saying things like having high levels of circulating triglycerides in the blood. What? What? Caring about liver health? What? Polyphenols being attached to the fiber and missing the phytonutrients? What? People, this is what gets me. Don't think because I like simple words and simple terms that I am a simpleton. But it's enough to tell you that this is all bull crap. Polyphenols being attached to the fiber and missing the phytonutrients. Give me a friggin' break. I mean, these people don't even know what they're talking about using these words. Polyphenols, okay, what about them? And how they attach to fibers, what? And how they affect the phytonutrients? Polyphenols are part of the phytonutrients or photonutrients. I don't know what you're talking about. Digestion being worse after a juice cleanse. Well, you could almost say that on a water fast. There's an appropriate way to do things. When you're fasting, there's an appropriate way to get there. So if you just want to go on a fast, you need to spend a couple of weeks on some raw foods first. You can't just go, I'm sick, I'm going to fast. Yeah, well, people are too toxic sometimes to just fast because they can get into things like this. They get constipated from fasting, that's well known. Things like that. Sometimes if you fast too deep, more on water fasting and stuff, your digestion you can pull up some bad stuff out of there. And there's like a couple of people that did that 43-day water fast in Costa Rica called me. They couldn't digest anymore. This is why I say there's a time and place for these deeper issues. And the only time I recommend deeper issues or extended fasts are people that are in serious friggin' trouble. They have death facing them of the physical body. But outside of that, I highly recommend that you do this properly, that you take some herbs, whatever you can afford, that you do some juices and stuff and raw foods for a while, for a few weeks before you get into any deeper work. And some of you should do it for several months before you jump into some deeper fasts. You're talking about some deep stuff. And when you go into this deep level, everything can break up. And I think Marcy maybe explained it to you when she did her video, but Marcy started taking everything for detox and doing very radical things. Everything that you guys hear out there. Well, that threw her in the hospital and almost killed her. She said to me, I feel like everything's breaking up at once. If I broke all your mucus up at once, you would be a dead duck. There's no way you could handle that. You couldn't breathe. You just couldn't. I mean, I can't even tell you. Look at the mucus a lot of you are getting out of you. And how long? Some of you said, you got that much mucus in me? Imagine all of it breaking up at once. No way. I've got stories a mile long about some of this stuff. And you just don't want to go there. So it is better to be somewhat smart and intelligent about your process of how you go by reversing lifetimes of genetic weaknesses on top of serious lymphatic stagnation issues. We've got serious stuff to unwind. And I'll say most people that have their digestive problems after a fast are those with the sulfur problems. Because when you start fasting and pulling, everything starts breaking up, and then you stop, everything's running for the door now. Uh-oh. So you might have a period where your body doesn't want to eat, doesn't want to digest. That's not a negative thing. But you have to understand how that is in the context. But see, some of these people, I can't have fruit. No, can't have fruit because I have digestive problems. No, they don't understand the process. You start breaking things up too quick, and that's why I'm for a process. I'm for balance and a process. I've had a lot of years to work this out to make it harmonious and good for everybody, where nobody gets hurt, everybody feels good, and no one goes through some scary stuff. There still will be people going through scary stuff because of how involved, how chronically involved their body is. There's just no two ways about it. But you'll get on the other side and you'll work through it and you'll develop that. I've never seen anybody die from detoxification. It's possible. And that would be someone that went on a year water fast right from a standard American diet. That'd be the only way I would think. But I can see how people get blamed for that. Thanks, Brandon Young. Aloha to you too, my man. But yeah, absolutely. Doing it properly, you'll never have any problems whatsoever. The natural hygienic people are the faster experiences. If there was anybody with experience on fasting in this world, it's the natural hygienic people, period. Herbert Shelton had fasting clinics all through Florida and Texas, or at least several in Florida and several in Texas. And I can't remember where else. They fasted people constantly. And it's generally a 2-week fast, but generally they fasted with the color of the tongue. In other words, when you start withholding food, you start getting white on the tongue, or brown, depending how toxic you are. Some people have these tongue scrapers that get so much crap on them. That shows how much lymph problems one has. Well, detoxing, fasting on water, in the olden days, you use the tongue as your tool. So when you started fasting, of course, your tongue always turns, and how much it turns, and then as you get through your fast, the deeper you go, as the body cleans itself, it cleans the lymph system, then your tongue goes clean again, and it's like, oh, look, I'm on. And that's the old way of fasting. So there's been a lot of that. But you never saw back, I don't think, in the natural hygienic people fasting 43 days just on water, stuff like that, out of some of standard diets, that have not had some time on raw foods and time to clean up the bowels and to get the kidneys filtering. Because you can do some of those things first, like get your bowels cleaned up, clean them up, get bowel moving good, get your kidneys filtering. You do a few things like that, and you could fast for a long time and enjoy it. But I would take some time and fix my body up a little bit first. Get some of the gnarly worms and stuff out of you, if you got them. Get the parasites out, get the bowel walls cleaned up a little bit, get your kidneys filtering, and then take off and have some fun. Then you're going to have a much more enjoyable experience. Oh, we only have a few more minutes. But I have all week. This is only Monday. This is Lazaro, Lazaro. Hi, I'd like to know Dr. Morse's opinion about turmeric, baking soda, molasses drink. Wow. So, this is turmeric with baking soda in it and molasses. This is like using it for like an alkalizer, like your baking soda, like a fast. They used to take there's this what they call fast track alkalizing, which is your baking soda, which is bicarbonate. Which is what medical doctors think. That's why you can eat anything you want, because bicarbonate neutralizes all the acids, so it doesn't matter if you have all this protein, because it's not going to affect you in any way, shape, or form. And what you eat has no effect on your health. Oh my God. Turmeric, love it. Love it. Baking soda, I'm just a little cautious of overusing too much of it, because remember, your body produces bicarbonate on a lot of places, even in your blood. So there's a lot of bicarbonate being produced in the body with the union of water and carbon dioxide. So, I don't know. I would be careful about taking too much of it, because again, you can have more troubles the other way. And then I'm not too sure if it works just like all the other issues. Because we know steroids and hormones, when you take them, your body quits making them. I wasn't sure about digestive enzymes. I am now. If you take them, your body quits making them. We know that with insulin and a hormone. So pretty much when you take a constituent that the glands need to produce, your glands quit producing it. It just seems that way. And that might be true with bicarbonate. That'd be the scary thing. Because you do not want to shut down any of your bicarbonates. Because you've got bicarbonate in the kidneys to help keep the kidneys alkaline, or you'll break them down a lot faster. You've got bicarbonate in the pancreatic duct to bring up pancreatic juice to the digestive chyme. You've got it in the blood cells. You've got a lot of bicarbonate in places. Or the potential. When you get toxic and stuff, then of course some of this is probably suppressed in its production, and therefore you see the pH is off and the lack of proper digestion as well. We could get into an intellectual dissertation on that one, but I don't know if I should do that on this site in regards to your pancreatic digestive enzymes, or especially your pancreatic duct digestive enzymes, which includes trypsin and chymotrypsin, which is part of your protein chain, your amino acid chain. So, all these are pH specific. So this is really interesting. Molasses, sugar that carries it to the cell. That's what they were saying with fast-track alkalizers, is mix bicarbonate with the sugar, so the sugar will be converted to ATP, ADP, AMP, but take it to the cell, where then if you take the carbon to the cell, will help alkalize it. You have to realize here, guys, that the problem is you're not trying to treat something. You're trying to understand that when you start to notice symptomology in your body, 9 times out of 10, or 9,999.999 times out of 10, it's the great lymphatic system. And it's your kidneys and adrenal glands at the core of the problem. Man has had so much protein. When I grew up, it was predicted that the average guy out there had about 400 to 450 grams of protein a day. Meet square 3. Now, the recommendation is 20 to 40 grams. And of course, we don't recommend any protein. We recommend amino acids, like all the other animals and vertebrates, but we don't recommend protein. So I don't know, why the drink. You really want to focus in on, if you have health problems, your main focus needs to be the lymphatic system as we teach it, because no one else teaches it at this level. And understand that the kidneys are your main players there, along with your skin. So that would then also hitchhike your thyroid. So all of these things are so interfaced anyway, it's amazing, and I'm sure we don't even know a fraction of the truth, to be honest with you. We're just exposing some of it. But I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with the drink. But if you're in long-term use of this, I wouldn't. Long-term use of it. Short-term use, I think it sounds like a good thing. But at the same time, be careful with the bicarbonate part. Turmeric, everybody. I love turmeric. And, of course, molasses. You have to be careful. All this stuff is high-cooked stuff. So it's high concentrated. Like, everybody loves maple syrup. But how do you get tree sap to convert to syrup? You cook the holy heck out of it. And this is from Chris. Matter of fact, Chris and Drew should be here any minute from New York. It's live, Chris and Drew. Hi, Dr. Morse. I am having frequent heart PVCs. These are premature ventricular contractions. PVCs are premature ventricular contractions. I would rather see PACs, which is premier atrium contractions, but the ventricles, those are your bigger chambers down below the atriums. Not good to have a rhythm from that. That means there's an electrical spot in upper right atrium, which is your upper right chamber. It's called the SA node, the sinus node. And that's where your electricity initiates to depolarize and open up the valves so your blood moves through the chambers. It's the whole thing about going to the lungs and getting oxygenated from the venous system, coming up and re-oxygenating the blood. So you have chambers and processes to do this. So you're supposed to be initiating your spark from the atriums. So premature ventricular means that your spark that opens up your valve, whether it's a tricuspid or is coming from the bottom when it should be coming from the top, which isn't good. There's a blockage somewhere, obviously. So and which system would that be? But you have a ventricle-initiated beat, which is an aberrant beat, which is a beat that's either early or late. So that's when you go after that. I would recommend taking my heart formula. I looked up herbs for arrhythmias and things like this at the same time. I'm going after my nervous system with brain and nerve. I am going after my adrenal glands and kidneys because I'm after my lymphatic system, which suppresses the flow of blood and nerve and stuff in the heart. So I'm going after all these systems, and I'm going to take the heart formula to do that because I don't like PVCs. And premature ventricular contractions. Now, when it's ventricular tachycardia, that's when you're going to take a ride into another land far, far away. or unless we can stop it. I'm 2 months raw vegan with a good balance of high fruit and vegetables. Good. Now, you could have some chemistry in you giving you these PVCs. I don't know what kind of chemistry, but you could have neurotoxins. Who knows? I don't know. I was wondering what herbs I can take to help my arrhythmia. I am 26 years old. God, man, 26 years old with PVCs and have had this. I was talking to, when I was in the hospital with my friend when we got poisoned. This is a heart doctor because she had AFib. She got AFib out of this. And I asked her heart, which was a cardiologist, I said, do you ever see a 6-second strip? I think it was his PA at that time. And he was talking about something. I said, yeah, how scary is a 6-second strip on a first-degree heart pulse? And he's going, like he never saw one. That 6-second heart pause is about that long on a strip. And it's like when you see it, it's like, whoa, code blue! So you want to open up everything. I would also recommend lower circulation. And if you can afford it, do upper and lower circulation. But I'd do lower circulation. I'd do heart form if it was me. I'd go after my adrenals, my kidneys, and I would go in that way. It's 26 years old. You got some genetics going on here. You might get a picture of your eyes and see if you have weaknesses in the heart. Now, you might not realize this, but go after your GI tract as well. That's where your heart came off. Your heart came off in your embryonic stages. It was tied to your descending colon. And had this problem since I was 15. And want to stop it once and for all. You need to stop it, Chris, for once and for all. I don't like that. So we need to stop that. Use the heart formula. Use the brain and nerve formula. Use lower circulation. At the same time, I'd get away from vegetables a little bit and going up and more to the fruit. Now, make sure you wash all the pesticides and herbicides off of your fruit and veggies. I got to only do one more because I got to go. I need to look at this. Someone sent me, what is this, autoimmune, article on an autoimmune. I used to believe it existed, but then realized if it did, wouldn't we be, in effect, zombies? Yeah, you know, when you look at this autoimmune thing, and this is part of the problem, they have a lot of convincing stuff the way because they've convinced themselves that there is autoimmune problems. No such thing. Yeah, let me see. I wanted to read this one. I just saw this one. This is a... There's a lot of good... You guys got a lot of good questions. So let me see here. This one, Ramona. Ramona. Dear Dr. Morse, hello. My name is Ramona and I live in British Columbia. I got some other people I know lives up that way. Matter of fact, Mark Twain lived that way. You know Mark Twain? No, not Mark Twain. You guys know Mark Twain is Shania Twain's brother. I heard Shania is going to be, or her name is Eileen Lang, or used to be Lang, not Lang anymore. But she's going to be on The Voice and be one of the mentors on The Voice here. But she needs to come back to me and get her health back in shape. She's got too many phobias going on right now. Did you read that? That's why she came to me in the first place. I recently received your Heal All Tea and made a 2-minute video showing how I prepare it. YouTube deleted it. What? YouTube deleted it? Oh, I have no idea why, because all I was doing was making tea. Isn't that weird? That is weird. Well, you go after YouTube, or get a hold of us and my attorney will go after them. If I was supposed to have their permission, no. You know what they have on YouTube. You know what crap they have on YouTube, and YouTube shut this down? That was stupid. They just gave my channel a strike and asked me to acknowledge it. This is a link to appeal, but for their convenience, it doesn't seem to work. Peace to you, love, Ramona. I'm sorry, sweetie. You know what? Try it again. Try it again. And if you don't have any luck with it, you know, send it in here to Renee, and Renee will take a look at it and give them a call, or because she's had to do that with me. They shut me down a couple of times. I can see maybe shutting me down because, you know, their power may be fed through pharmaceuticals and stuff. Hi there, I am on a Dr. Morse teaching page and came across a question some of us couldn't answer. If this question could be addressed, that would be great. She is wanting to know how effective the herbs are in the GI broom if charcoal is in it. Thanks so much. I shared her 3 theories. Okay, so here's 3 theories. So Wendy, there are the following options. So here's 3 theories. The first one, either there isn't enough charcoal to absorb the herbs in the GI broom, but then it means that there isn't enough charcoal to absorb any toxins from the body either. So the effects of GI comes from only the herbs in it. Well, let's talk about that one first. You know, I only have about 2% charcoal and bentonite in that formula. And it's not really, therefore, it won't absorb the nutrition of the herbs. You know, some things have consciousness to them. Matter of fact, all things do. So there's a consciousness to charcoal. But I don't have it there to absorb major toxins, because that's not going to happen. They'll come out already in the mucus and all that coming out of the lymph system. So I can even take them out because it's just no big deal. But if you have any heavy metals or something like that, you might have some, or maybe some neurotoxins, you might have a little draw from that. That's all there. It's not going to draw the nutrition out of the GI broom. But I don't give you the GI broom for the nutrition of it, although you'll get plenty from it. But I don't, matter of fact, when you look at all the nutrition in all these herbs, my God, there's way too much. But it's not about the nutrition. It's about the action and indication for this. I need a strong astringent. one that'll start to draw on the mucosa, because we have interstitial lymphatic constipation in the intestinal walls. And I'm trying to, not only through hydration, of course, ionization and hydration, loosen that, but also to start drawing and pulling that mucus out. And you notice a lot of you getting a lot of mucus in your stools. And that's coming from this. Because if I can open up absorption, because that's the least you have to think about. Because if you're thinking about a little bit of 2% of charcoal absorbing some of the nutrition of herbs, I want to remind you that most of you are malabsorbed and probably losing 50% of that already. So, kind of a ridiculous thought. But it's there for some loose absorptions. If there's some need for absorption of any toxin, that's there for that. But basically, this is an astringent pulling, let's get it out action. Basically. Yeah. There are enough charcoal in the GI broom to absorb toxins, and then it also absorbs the herbs in, and the GI broom as well, so the effects of the GI broom comes from the charcoal only. Charcoal doesn't have anything like that. Charcoal is just like a sponge, if you said there was, I don't know, its simple structure, it just has that affiliation for certain toxins, but it doesn't pull good chemistry into it that I know of. I've never seen that. But it's only 2%, which is not very much. Just enough to pull any excito or toxins that might be needed that way if they're released or something by astringent action. That's the only reason I put that in there, really, no big deal. And number 3, since there is only a small, teeny amount of charcoal in it, so think maybe small amount of charcoal can absorb some of the herbs, I hope none of them, and the remaining herbs can have an effect, but the charcoal cannot absorb toxins since a little amount has already reached a capacity by absorbing some of the herbs. Again, I don't think it absorbs the herbs, guys. I've not seen that. So, but there's so little of it that wouldn't be even a fraction of the case. But again, I don't have that formula for the nutrition in the herbs. That action is totally an astringent action and going after those intestinal walls. Trying to pull the sulfur off of there, the stagnation, the mucoid plaque, all of that sort of stuff. So all of that, I think is a good add to that myself. I don't think it's hurting. I don't think it's absorbing toxins or anything else like that. I don't have the time to talk about this at autoimmune, but I'll take it and read it and tonight, and then I'll be here back tomorrow or the next day, and we'll talk about, I don't know what you're talking about here, autoimmune thing here, but why your immune system doesn't eat you alive. Come on, man. I don't know that, but you have to understand that everything is frequency driven. All these different states of consciousness are humans are frequency differences. Everything is frequency differences because in creation, everything is individual. When you pull out of creation, you're not talking about individuality anymore. Everything becomes one again. That's why all religions and spirituality, at least most, not all, but most, talk about the one God. The one source. Even the Upanishad, if you look behind there, you will find the one, even though there's the many. But there are the many for a reason, because there are many. You could call them overlords or whatever you want to call them. God has a lot of subordinates set all around. And some of you have met some of them. Some of these dudes are pretty powerful. So it's got itself set up all over the place. At all levels. But everything has awareness to it. And so when you look at macrophages and things like that, they don't attack healthy cells. That's not their job. They wouldn't do that. That's the innate consciousness within these cells. You got to understand consciousness. But if there's a cell that's damaged, now we're talking. That's why you don't see macrophages in basic tissue. You see them in lymph nodes. Because those cells that are damaged by their own metabolitic wastes or from chemistry consumed, but if they're neutralized all by bicarbonate, that wouldn't be from that. So, Then those cells are taken to the macrophages, or taken to the lymph nodes. Very rarely do you see macrophage involvement in tissue, and you really wouldn't want to, because so many people have genetically weak tissue. The question would be just that. You know, you start weakening the cells of your body as your own macrophages take over, and that's some of why things are placed the way they are in the body and the things the way they are. And you could probably ask Pat and get a far more intellectual answer out of that one. Because, like I said, I spent years keeping things simple, and I still want to be that. That's my job. I have to keep doing that, because the tendency is to over-intellectualize everything, including the GI broom. You don't have to over-intellectualize that one. That was just a simple formula like no other. What you see in most of these GI tract formulas is you see psyllium and you see all this crap like that. I want to stringent. I want to move, shake, rock, and roll, baby. I want to pull this plaque off. I want to get that wall stringed. I want to try to reach in and grab some of this stagnant mucus on the other side so I can get absorption of nutrients. Because you got plenty of other nutrition coming down the pikes. You have to worry about that GI broom for a nutritional side. And it's not going to absorb its actions. The GI broom has plenty of action on it, so I don't think it's a negative thing to have that in there. But I want to read that on you, and I'll talk about that, but the autoimmune syndrome. But I think it's just the bottom line. Medical doctors do not understand the lymphatic system, and if you do not understand the lymphatic system and what acidosis is in the body, then you really... And what the body has to do to fight acidosis, what it has to do with the electrolytes in the body. Yeah, and all they have to do is follow the pathway of their disease thinking. But they can't, because they're lost in the concept that your diet and the chemistry your body has nothing to do with diseases. And when you set yourself apart at that level, you pretty much screwed yourself, because you've got yourself in a place where you can't explain anything. And so autoimmune, or it's all in your head, or it's these sort of things. So many of you have written me through the years telling me, my doctor said it's all in my head, or it's an autoimmune, or it's a genetic gene missing, or some crap like that, because they can't explain it. So instead of looking stupid, it comes up with something even more stupid. If I don't know something, I'll tell you flat out, guys. Well, I can't know everything, and neither can you. So no, not everybody can know everything. And you should admit when you don't know anything, because you can get yourself trapped. And it's 5 o'clock. I gotta go. It is better than the no buttons. Thank you all so much. I know there's probably a lot of cards I haven't brought up. Main squeeze. That was a good card. Yeah. It's nice to be someone's main squeeze. Who am I as main squeeze of? I love you guys, and thank you so much for your love and your patience with me, because I get a little radical sometimes, because Jesus Christ, I've been around for a long time in this field, and there's some of this propaganda and myth stuff out there, like fruits are bad and stuff. Interesting, isn't it? Now the studies are showing just the opposite. And you guys are on the top of your game, on the top of the field, and guess where people are going to go? You guys, because you're the ones teaching the truth. The rest of the world has to discover what you guys already know. So, love you guys. Stay in the present moment. Make sure that you get a hold of that mind of yours. And enjoy the evening. Of course, this is the evening, and you might not get this till in the morning, but have a good one, guys. I love you. See you on the next video. All right, I got to go visit a Chris and Drew.